Yo, welcome to the Table Talk podcast, where we sit down, pull up a chair, and we get started. This podcast is designed to provide you packed full of information to help you with your training, nutrition, lifestyle, and well-being, where we interview myself through case studies to give you lifetime experience. And then we also interview high-performing individuals or other career-focused people who are looking to make changes in their lifestyle, training, nutrition, and well-being. So let's pull up that chair and let's go. Today, we're going to talk about the wine, the delicious beverage. So if you're drinking maybe a tea, a coffee, or water, maybe this evening you may be having a wine. And like most, more than the standard. And there are times where you'll see coaches, they say, shouldn't do that, bad. I'm here to kind of just talk more from just a practical standstill from what I've read over the years, but also just to remind people that we are human. There is no such wine out there that is attacking people that I know of. So let's break it all down. Let's talk about wine. So fundamentally, what is it? Well, it's grapes that are fermented. It's broken down into sugars and you get wine. Very simple. I'm not a wine connoisseur. I'm not a specialist in this. It's, like I say, practical sense. So that is the crux of it. So let's go into disclaimer. All information in Vitruvian Health regards training, nutrition, therapy, lifestyle, educational purposes only. It's not meant to diagnose or treat any health conditions, and it is a replacement for treatment by healthcare providers. If you have any concerns, consult your local GP. Long ago, I had a client, Julie. She used to run a food catering service company, and the company, her doctor said it's okay. Like, she used to drink a bottle of wine every day, and one doctor had concerns, and then the other doctor said, "Oh, look, it's totally fine. Like, you're Irish, you can handle it." No. I think at that time, a bottle of wine was about 750 calories. So she can. I worked with her 9 years ago, and she couldn't work out why she wasn't losing weight. So, she was eating 4 meals a day. She was having a protein breakfast. She was having oats with protein, and then she would have lunch, chicken, broccoli, coffee. I don't think oat milk, almond milk was such a thing. So she had a full fat coffee. Then she had a biscuit with that. Then from there, she would go and have her third meal, which was 3 boiled eggs or a protein shake or a protein bar. So a lot of protein. And then dinner would be like roast beef, veg, and then she'd have a bottle of wine. So she'd have a glass while cooking, glass while eating, and then a glass after. So with all of that wine, I think we worked out she was eating about 1,400 calories. So the person she worked with before is like, you need more protein, don't eat carbs, don't do this. So she was really cutting back, and no one really talked to her about her liquid intake. And so that was an interesting one. So by working on that, I pulled up, what's an alcoholic? An alcoholic is someone who drinks a standard drink a night alone, which I find interesting. So if you drink 2 or 3 with someone, it's okay. Not sure about that one, but I digress. So she was doing that, and I was like, well, why do you drink a bottle? And it turned out, like, her standard glass. So for those that are listening, I'm holding a cup of iced chai tea. Hopefully you can hear that. If you can't, that's okay. And then I'm holding a liter jug. So like, that was the standard glass, and this was her glass. It was just, that's what filled up. So that's what she drank. So she used to do that for a long time until we met. And so we talked, found out why she did it. And the thing with alcohol is it's a neurotoxin. So, and she used to train 2 hours a day. It's like she was an animal. She would do like pump class, weight training, cardio. It's never lifting like heavy loads, but just doing a lot of aerobic activity to burn off the calories she was consuming. And after a while, we then started to work on, I was like, okay, well, let's actually start to eat some food. Let's get some vegetables in. Let's get some wholesome foods, change from all that protein. So we got rid of the eggs, did more, what did we do? So my personal preference at that time was steak and nuts. Loved it. So we actually went for a bigger serve of meat, steak in the morning, And then we had some nuts and vegetables with that. So it was more wholesome. So then when she came to a second meal, um, she was catering a lot. So she was snacking. So sometimes she didn't eat because of events. So she would have like quiches, legumes with salad. Um, she kept the shake for emergencies and a third meal, but ideally we went for her third meal to be like brown rice or white rice, depending if she trained. So she would do a large serve of rice with beans, veg, some meat as well, and then she'd do dinner. Um, got rid of that the goblet that she had, and really just focus on hydrating. So having water more. So we did sparkling. So she got a variety of liquids, so sparkling still, and then she would have one glass occasionally. So, we don't remove it. Thing is, like, it's a neurotoxin, so it affects cognitive function, strength. But for her, it was a habit. It was a nice time with her husband. And so it's like, okay, well, could we do that 2-3 times a week? She's like, yeah, we could do that. The husband's out once or twice a week anyway. So I'm like, cool. Well, when he's home, let's like let our hair down, let's enjoy. Because, a lot of the time, like I personally, I don't drink. I'm Irish. Shock and horror. I can't believe an Irishman is talking about drinking wine and he does not drink. I've been apparently given expensive bottles of wine as gifts, and I'll call my dad. He loves wine, and I'll be like, "Hey, Dad, what's this bottle?" He's like, "Do not touch it. Bring it here now." I'm like, "Okay." So I take it home and give it to Dad, and he's like, puts it in his wine fridge. He's got 3 wine fridges. He's got a cellar and a bar. His wine fridge is like his prized collections of Grange. I think he has a bottle for when I was born, and he was hoping to open that when I was 18. Still there. So he is a big wine connoisseur. So he knows a lot about wine. I've never been a fan. I probably drink 2-3 times a year. Usually once on my anniversary with Kate. There's a bottle of wine she loves. So we go out to this restaurant she knows has it, and then we have that. We get a bottle and we probably have a glass, and then we keep the other half for another day with friends, and then the third one, if I'm out with clients and they want to do whiskey or something. But I've never been a huge fan. But I get really chilled, really relaxed, and if it relaxes you, which makes going to sleep easier, then the occasional things. If it helps you sleep, like people say, well, it affects your sleep, Carl. It's like, yeah, but if you're up most of the night and you can't fall asleep, period, it can be something that could help get you into a routine and wind you down. So, like, and when we talk about wine, I'm talking about red wine. Red wine, polyethanols, antioxidants. So it actually helps with decreasing of age. Helps decrease free radical stress on the body. White wine's has a higher sugar content, so I don't usually recommend those. For the types of red wines, Spanish, Merlot, French wines, their vineyards just sweeter, and their grapes just have that high profile of antioxidants. Not all wines are equal, so usually look for organic. When it comes to wine, if you're going out, don't get the cheap stuff. It's full of like fillers. Like this way, if you do it occasionally, you can actually splurge and get a nicer bottle of wine, which actually has a nice taste. This is why I could never do wine, because when I had it, you could just taste the chemical in it. So it never became a preference. So yeah, we did that with Jilly. Then there was another lady that I had, and it becomes a bit taboo. People, when it comes with trainers, like they'll just be like, don't drink wine. It's like, cool. It decreases my stress, so I don't kill anyone. And if I kill my boss, I don't have a job, so then I can't pay you. So, it's all in the realm of moderation, and it's just being sensible. So, for coaches, usually myself, it's asking the question of like, how's your stress? How's your sleep? How's your body composition? Body composition is improving, then like that 1 to 2 glasses isn't going to be the end of the world. And comically enough, 2019 when I was prepping, so like comp prep, you're dieting down, you're cutting weight. Yo, people joining in, welcome. When you're dieting in, you're cutting weight, you are you start at 4,000 calories, then 3,500, 3,000, 2,700, 2,400, 2,100, just bringing it down. So over 12 weeks, it was really cutting the calories. And what happened was, the comp week, I actually ate all those calories back, getting all that carb into me, fill the muscle cell. So the muscle's nice and full. And when your muscle belly is nice and full, the muscle's going to pop out more. However, what you need to do is you need to dehydrate yourself so your skin gets tighter, so the muscles and the carb stays in the muscle cell, so it actually pops out more. And so by that muscle popping out more, you're going to look better. So what do you need to do to dehydrate yourself? You guessed it, wine. So like red wine with sweet potato chips that has a lot of salt in it. So, ideally you just do wine with salt. Ugh. So you do salty chips, so you still get a bit of carbs in you. So that's going to actually bring up a nicer body composition at the end of the week. So this is why it's good to ask the question, what's your body comp like? So if you're finding the body comp's getting worse, you're probably having too much wine. And so the body's actually retaining water weight and it's actually not creating a tighter physique. Now, I'm not saying this for everyone, but if your body fat's above 15%, then probably not a thing to be concerned about. You probably won't notice this tightening effect. So it's usually when the body comp's leaner. So it is a vasodilator, so it's going to tighten you up, which is pretty cool. And it's just funny that trainers will say, "Don't do it," and then come day, do wine. But you said do wine now. So conflicted. So yeah, pros and cons. So neurotoxin. So the con is that it's a neurotoxin. It affects cognitive function. It decreases strength. It can affect strength gains for up to 7 days. Damon Hayhow, owner of Recomp, has a lot of data on this. Great guy. Check him out. He's in Melbourne. So he has a lot of athletes that he works with, and he can tell when someone's actually had wine and alcohol because he'll just see their strength drop. So if your goal is to build strength and really, be cognitively sharp, then I am more mindful to not really recommend it. But, like I say, 1 or 2 a week, if the goal isn't purely on like you just want to be the strongest, then then it's not a huge concern because you'll still, though you might not lift the maximal load, you'll still get stronger. You'll still work on your structure, balance, any weaknesses. So you're still going to progress. It's just, working on with people like at Vitruvian Health, we focus on lifestyle, training, nutrition, and mindset. So where is the kink in the armor? And if it's mindset, like you're just having a tough week, you're tired, really run down, well, and that having that glass helps you to calm your nervous system so you can continue to get to sleep early, get on top of everything so you get more sleep and you're more alert. Well, go for it. Like lady I used to work with, again, spend my time with Julie. Julie, lovely lady. She had 3 kids who were just, bit of a challenge. When they're babies, they're a challenge, Wah, wah. They're saying feed me, but you just don't know. So they're not speaking English yet. So she had like 3 new kids, babies. And so, kudos to her. Husband was working. She's looking after the kids. And I remember doing her nutrition consult with her. And the first time she wanted to drop weight, wanted to de-stress. So training helped with that. And this is when I learned how to ask the questions better. So I would look at her piece of paper and I was like, cool, fill this out. Here are your glasses. Just color them in when you've had you're hydrated, you've had your water, so we can see how much you've had. Let me know what you're eating and we'll just check what your food looks like. She came back a week later. I looked at it and hasn't dropped weight. She's like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, okay. So I'm looking at it. She's had a block of chocolate. She had some chocolate. She had a square. So she had chocolate, she had food. I said, okay. Some of the glasses were red, some were black, some were blue. I'm like, okay, maybe she's lost her pen. So she's just got a different pen. It's normal. At least she's coloring in, she's being accountable. So it was like, cool. So let's look at, let's go for 2 squares of chocolate. So 2 squares, and let's up your water intake. Let's get more liquids into you. We need more liquids. So you're getting about 1.5 liters of liquid in. I think we need to go up to 2.5 to 3 liters. You reckon we could do that? So 2 squares of chocolate, because chocolate had natural occurring magnesium in it, and it's not the end of the world if you have a little bit, but good combination of bit of dark chocolate and getting more hydration, calm the body down, and we should probably see some weight drop. Now you probably see the weight go up, but what happens is it tends to drop down because it's more hydrated, less stress on the body, and the body responds a lot nicer. So off she goes, happy as Larry. She comes back and she's put on 2 kilos, and she looks at me and she's like, I'm okay with that. I'm like, but you wanted to lose weight? She's like, yeah, but I'm feeling really good. I'm really happy. with what we're doing. I'd still like to drop the weight, but I think we've got a good system here. We could probably change something in the nutrition, but I think those 2 squares of chocolate are working well for me, and that increase of liquid. Um, okay. There's more red here, blue, black. Huh. Okay. A lot of different colors. Well, okay. Hey, what happens to your blue pen at the middle of the day? Like you lose it. Um, and hmm, this square, you've had a lot of like you've had squares of chocolate every single day. Like normally you miss chocolate or you miss something. So what is this? She's like, oh, so it's been 2 weeks, and she goes, oh yeah, no, I haven't lost my blue pen. That's red wine. What? She's like, yeah, the red is red wine. Pardon? Hang on, what? She's like, yeah. So like that's 4 glasses. I'm like, sometimes you have 6. She's like, yeah. So I colored it in, and this is a liquid because you said increase my liquids. And the black is like, um, it's a different alcoholic beverage. Um, the husband's home, so we share the scotch or the whiskey. It's his favorite or something. I go, oh my gosh, are you serious? She's like, yeah. She's like, you said to track everything. I'm like, oh, come on. So here's me thinking she's lost a pen and just coloring it in, like making sure she's getting a liquid in, when actually she's been drinking red wine, 250 mils. She's like, God, I'm like, she's like, so I've really enjoyed it. Like the kids are not a problem at all. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I gathered that. And so that then led me to go, so what's a square of chocolate? She's like, the big family block of dairy milk. I went, please don't tell me you've been eating 2 whole blocks. She's like, yeah, I've been eating 2 whole blocks. I've had the best week ever. I'm like, oh wow. So really, I really kudos to her. Really realized that I really needed to get more accurate with my questions of going. So we're going to drink 2.5 liters of water. We're not doing alcohol. We'll do Tuesday, Thursday red wine, one standard glass, and the comical thing about a standard glass in Australia is a standard glass is 110 mils, but the average Australian will probably do about 180 to 210 mil. So we're actually doing 1.5 to 2 standard glasses of alcohol with a glass. So yeah, got into that. And then when it comes to chocolate, I now pull up. So you're going to have 70% black and green gold organic dark chocolate, or 85%, so 70 plus and above. And you're going to do a line of the chocolate. That's 4 pieces, not the other way. That's 7. Do 4 this way, vertical, not horizontal, not vertical, and that'll last you a week. So 4 lines, 4 pieces. That's 1 line every day, 7 days. You'll have had the whole block. So you only need to buy 1 block. So yeah, by doing that next week, she dropped 3 kilos. I'm like, how are you doing? She's like, I'm happy I've lost the weight, but I prefer if we could have a bit more wine. So when it comes, yeah, so when it comes to it, you give people a millimeter, they'll take a mile. With wine. So those are some fun stories that have taught me a lot to do with it. But really, bringing it all the way back, it's all about moderation. And so for me, over the years, when it came to alcohol, I tell people I don't drink alcohol. Look, let's focus on like training, nutrition, lifestyle, mindset. Let's focus on the training. Let's get you started. Let's get everything, your structure balance up to scratch. Then we'll address your nutrition. We'll do a reflection log, see what's going on. And a lot of time, we all know we shouldn't be doing this and that, but things happen. So the question would be tasks like, why did it happen? What could I do beforehand? So, if a stressful day is occurring, what's something you can implement in the day? So, having magnesium, maybe having the squares of dark chocolate beforehand. So to calm the body down. So at the end of the day, or taking like 20 deep breaths to really just settle that nervous system. So yes, those are some fun stories that have taught me a lot as an individual that has helped other people. My third fun one, Joe, if you're listening, this is about you. So Joe, I met her early on in my career as a trainer, and this is when I really started to. I knew a bit about alcohol, like the polyethyl. So the pros to, the alcohol calms the body down, so we can relax more. More relaxed helps with recovery. The challenge, then con is that it's a neurotoxin. It affects cognitive function and strength. And so the way up is making sure it just works in moderation to suit your needs and designs. And if the goal is to drop fat, should you be having wine once a week, twice a week? If you're sitting in a caloric deficit, body's going to drop weight. Like a happy, healthy body is not going to store excess fat. Now, everyone's like, well, I'm storing fat and I'm really happy. Yeah, well, you may be really happy now, but just in a surplus. So if you can manage that, it'll definitely work. The challenge with alcohol is that if you eat a meal and have alcohol, the body's going to prioritize getting rid of the alcohol first. So food sits in your gut. So usually I recommend doing a high protein rich meal. So you tend to want to consume and drink less. So then you get nourishing food into the body, and then the neurotoxin, you end up having less, so the body doesn't have to work as hard to get rid of it. So yeah, my third story for everyone is that with early in the journey, I was learning about like polyethanols, decreasing free radical stress, helps the body recover. Short term, don't recommend doing it like 24 hours before a running event. And so, timing, it's important. Body comp helps to dilate the body, makes you look tighter, physically presents a nicer physique on the day of a photo shoot. So whilst I'm learning this, I'm used to work in the Hilton Hotel, and there used to be a gentleman who used to work there as a PT. He left, and a lady called Joe. Sorry, Siri's just popping up to say hello. Lady come Joe. So I'm in the stretch area, and Joe walks up to me. She goes, "I hear you're the trainer to train with." I went, "Yeah, probably. Thanks. Yeah, like, yes, I am. Me in my young days." And she goes, "Right, I got three things for you before we start. Number one, I am going to continue to drink alcohol. I am going to have 2 or 3 glasses a week. Okay. Number two, chocolate. I have to have chocolate 2, 3 times a day. I have it with my Ryan. Number three, is that a problem? If it's a problem, we're not doing this." I went, "Joe, it's really funny that you say that. It's actually completely fine. Red. All I have to ask is, what type of wine are you having?" She's like, "Red." "Excellent. Red wine." I think maybe she said white, and I said, "No, I recommend we do red." And it has to come from like Spanish vineyards or French vineyards because they're better quality wines and grapes. So you'll get more antioxidants, polyethanols, things that will help your body. And the type of chocolate you're having, it needs to be 70% or darker. She's like, "Then chocolate dark. It's 47% dark. Is that okay?" I'm like, I feel like if I say no, I'm going to be in trouble. She's like, "Good choice. Okay, cool. Let's start." And then we started training. It was great. Like I had lots of people dropping weight, losing weight, putting on weight, but Joe just stayed consistent in what she was doing. And as we got stronger and put on more muscle, her physique transformed over time. So she wasn't getting rapid transformation in aesthetics, but what actually happened probably over the spectrum of a year, she probably had the best looking back in the gym and was doing pull-ups. And I remember looking at her back and I was like, "Damn, Joe, your back looks really good." Took a photo, showed it to him. She's like, "Yeah, like as long as I can run." She's like, "Does this affect my wine and chocolate?" "Nope." She's like, "Great." So she was really great to train. She still works with us, which I really enjoy. She's direct, calls it as it is. And it was really helpful in my PT journey because it made me think like, everyone's like, "Don't do this, don't do that." And I was like, she's literally just said, "If you don't let me do this, I'm not doing this." Okay, well, let's do it. And then we just prioritized other areas. Yeah, she was vegetarian at the time, or vegetarian. I asked her about that, and there were certain things that she needed to do, which was supplements. So she was getting all the vitamins and minerals that she needed. Did it, man. She's just super consistent, just steady over time, and she got there. Yeah, and so where I was going to get to is it was really helpful early in my career as a personal trainer because I used to just talk. I wanted to educate people. I wanted to help people so they could help themselves. And I remember Joe going, "Two." I go, "What?" She's like, two, what? 2 words or less. I'm like, "Yeah, but Joe, you need to retract and depress." "Bup, bup, bup." 2 words. You talk too much. I don't get it. I'm not going to remember it. The moment I leave, I'm off to work. She's like, "So 2 words. Like, let's get it done." I was like, "Oh, okay." And it would be great. There would be times where I'm like, "Joe, can I have 3 words?" She's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Excellent." Retract and depressed. It was just funny. But yeah, pick things up real quick, got strong, steady over time, good physique. Yeah, great person to work with. Really helped me to find and really stopped me from waffling on, which is a big thing that a lot of trainers do, is they talk a lot, because they haven't probably practiced enough. So yeah, big shout out to Jo, because it was really great that she had wine and chocolate. And so, and then I just became the person that people came to. People like, I hear the guy that lets people have wine and chocolate and lose weight. I'm like, yes, that's me. They're like, great. And I just ended up training a lot more people, because people had a perception that if they were going to work with a PT, or if they were going to lose weight, they actually have to give up on all the things they love. So like comically, like when people do keto, the joke is that, so you're removing all happiness from your life to lose weight. And people are like, haha, yes. But training, nutrition, lifestyle, mindset, find out what's the weak link, but you're also willing to work on. So if you're not really, like a lot of people aren't ready to work on their nutrition. So it's like, cool, well, let's look at supplementation. Let's start training. If you're training 3 times a week, can we do 4? Can we move a bit more? So it's finding all those things that work. So, if you're thinking, Karl, there's like 12 more negatives or cons to drinking alcohol, and there's 3 more positives, and you're like really sitting on the fence about it, maybe just don't focus. Like, if you're drinking 2 glasses of wine a day, but it helps you, don't focus on it. Like, focus on what you can do. Like just this morning, lady's working on the treadmill, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? She's like, am I okay? And I'm like, you're probably too high an incline on the treadmill. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, well, you need to catch up on your work, don't you? She's like, yeah, I've got a lot of work to do, but I want to lose weight. I'm like, okay, well, drop the incline, slow the speed, so you can actually go on your email and manage it. She goes, oh, great, I can catch up on my TikToks. I went, that's funny. But we didn't talk much about it, but maybe for her, watching 10 minutes of TikTok helps her switch the brain off so she can focus on training and then get back to it. But if she doesn't look at the TikToks, it's still thinking in her head. So then the training's not as effective. But if the training's more effective, works the muscle more, challenge yourself, then recovery starts. So then she can just dive into work. So yeah, just priorities. So the biggest thing when it comes to drinking alcohol, the question to always ask yourself, are we ready to make a change? If we're not ready to make a change, don't start there. If you're looking for the positives, helps with antioxidants, decreases free radical stress, and can help set new routines. The negatives, it can compromise strength, and it can affect your progress in the gym, short and long term. So let's dive in and enjoy. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch you later. Till the next podcast, done and dusted. Hey, thanks so much for joining the episode of Table Talk today. We hope you found some helpful tips and inspiration in staying healthy and fit, even with a busy schedule. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast. Stay tuned for our next conversation. Until then, keep prioritizing yourself, your health, your fitness, and we'll see you on the next Table Talk.